I'm Roberto Baldwin, and this is Tomorrow Today's Sustainable Mobility Brief. The transportation world is evolving at a rate not seen in decades. The transition from fossil fuels to sustainable energy has brought with it some truly exciting opportunities, but also some confusion. I'll sift through the noise and share quick updates on the latest news, trends, and advancements that will impact our world for years to come. This week on the Tomorrow Today Briefs podcast, we have Pirelli Global Head of R&D, Piero Masani. Piero, thank you so much for meeting with us all the way from Milan, right? You're in Milan right now.
Yes, sitting in Milan. We are closer to UK, so maybe we have to translate from UK English to American English.
Milan, sorry, I'm not even to say that's very American to say it incorrectly. Milan. Let's talk about the latest news between Pirelli and Bosch, and that is these Cyber Tyres. Now, the average person, they think about tires are just a slab of rubber that they buy, they put it on their vehicle, and every few years they swap them out, and nothing, they don't really think about it beyond that. But the reality is they're far more complex than that. And now we can talk about connected tires. So can you explain the basics of why someone would want a connected tire?
Yeah, sure. The first thing is that you're totally right. Normally people tend to think about tire when there is a problem like a puncture, when they have to inflate, when they have to replace. So typically tires are not considered as an active part of the dynamic of the car. Indeed, tires historically play a great role in the dynamic of the car. Not by chance. Tire is one of the few components, or maybe the only component on a car that has its own name, and they have to be homologated by the original equipment because they contribute to characterize the vehicle, to increase the safety, the performance, and also the sustainability of the vehicle itself. So they are generating forces. Or let me say, up to yesterday, they were generating forces that contributed to steer, to brake, to accelerate, to be safe on the road. So any user should consider that even if he is not aware, tires are contributing to his safety while driving a car. In the past, it was a tire generating forces. The best tire had to have the best grip, match it with the highest mileage possible, so work with the trade-offs and so on and so forth. Today, they still transmit forces, but they also start to transmit data. That's why we speak about connected tire. They transmit data. In the case of the Bosch agreement, they transmit data directly to the system integrator or to the control system of the car itself.
And so how does the Pirelli Cyber Tyre enhance the Pagani Utopia Roadster hypercar? You talked about that in the press release. How does it make that vehicle work better?
That is the first case for us where we directly interact into the control system. So the Cyber Tyre has been already applied on a few models. We started already with the very first car almost 4 years ago now with the McLaren. But in the case of Pagani Utopia Roadster, it's the very first time that the control system is acting based on the tire data. There is a simple explanation, let me say. On a car, you may have different kind of tires, not only different manufacturers, but on cars, you may have summer tire, winter tire, all-season tires, M+S tires that do have different behavior, different dynamic characteristics. Normally, what happens, the system integrator like Bosch, that is the biggest in the world, when receive the car from the OE manufacturer, makes a setup, a tuning that has to be an average in order to have all the possible tires that can be fitted to that vehicle work somehow properly. But none of them will be working at its best. If you are able to tell to the system, hey, I'm this kind of tire with these characteristics, and I'm working in this pressure and temperature condition, the system may recognize how to load, let me say, the best mapping in order to have the best braking, the best traction control, or the best ESP. That's exactly what is working on the Pagani, based on the ID. On a Pagani, we have homologated a P0R, but also a Trofeo RS for those who like to go to the track. These two tires have different dynamic behavior. Now, the car knows exactly which tire is fitted, in which condition is running, and then is adapting the control of traction control, ABS, and ESP according to these conditions, with a dramatic increase in terms of safety, performance, and enjoyment.
So the tire, like right now, the car doesn't know what tire is on it, essentially. So if you put track tires or you put summer tires or you put winter tires, you go to the track, the car is just, it is reacting to what is going on with the tire. But with this, it doesn't have to, it knows, so it can set itself up specifically for that tire.
You summarize in a perfect way. We switch from reaction, because all these systems do normally react. Take an ABS. Recognizes that the wheel is starting to slide and then reacts. In this case, the system knows from the very beginning which tire is fitted, which is, for example, the slip percentage at which generates the highest grip, the highest friction coefficient, and sets already the system to the best condition. If you have a winter tire, typically winter tires generate the highest friction coefficient at higher slips that are considered in percentage, maybe over 10% of slip to generate the best grip on a winter tire. On a track tire like a Trofeo RS, it's much lower. We speak about 3-4%. Knowing exactly this, the system does not have to wait, brake, activate the ABS to recognize which is the possible level of slip that has to allow. He already knows and sets the system already to the best value.
I mean, that's incredibly impressive, because again, like you said, it was reactive before. So for the average driver, this means that let's say you live in a region where it snows in the winter and it's warm in the summer. When you put those winter tires on, the vehicle knows, okay, I need to be ready for winter driving.
I will set myself to be ready for this set, or to work at the best with this specific set of tire. That's exactly like this. Maybe the customer does not recognize in everyday life, under normal driving conditions, driving slowly. But when it comes to emergency braking, emergency situations, you may have some unexpected situation. You enter a curve and all of a sudden the surface is different. With a lower friction coefficient. If you have a system that knows exactly up to which limit may control the controller of the car itself, you have a benefit in terms of safety. So more than in everyday life, you will directly experience in emergency situations, or in critical situations at least.
As we're moving to more and more connected vehicles with over-the-air updates, would there have to be, for the vehicle itself, could it just be potentially a software update from Bosch that's sent to the OEM, or would they have to be some hardware that's reading the information from the tire? What is the future for vehicles that work with this system?
Right. You speak about future because it's something that has to be born directly in an early stage of the development. So the car itself has to fit a control system that dialogues with the tire. Today, also, the control system on board of the car does not have this possibility to dialogue. You have to have antennas that receive the data from the tire sensor, a receiver that transmits to the CPU of the car, where is sitting a software that elaborates and generates what we call functionalities. You may control different conditions. For example, we have already experimented also how to control aquaplaning, to detect and control aquaplaning. We have a roadmap of features that will be implemented. If the car is already born based on this architecture, let me call it, for sure in the future there will be the possibility to implement additional functionalities over the air. And that is what is something that is happening already today in the world of automotive. So this is maybe made for controlling the engine, for controlling the comfort through the suspension, or for controlling the safety through the tire data.
Do you foresee a world where, someone's at a track day and they get off the track and they are able to get data from the tire, maybe to an app or to their vehicle that tells them how, maybe, you have X amount, based on what you're doing, you have this many miles that are, these tires are ready to continue to be, hammered at the track. Is that something you
have had some insights? Maybe you have had some insights, because exactly this is another area of development. So independently from the Bosch agreement, Since we are working since more than 25 years now on the data coming from tire, on the sensorized tires, we have already implemented also some functionalities specifically related to track days. We had a system called the Track Adrenaline that was, but required a dongle inside the car. So you could fit to any car available on the market, but you have to collect the data, transmit the data, elaborate the data, and then use them on your mobile phone. What is the difference with the Bosch agreement? In this case, everything is already native inside the car, and this is no more necessary to be transmitted somehow to a telephone or to something that you may have independent from the car. It's already in the dashboard. It's already there. Then you can export for sure also to the telephone or to other devices. So indeed, it's possible. And now I speak a little bit about something Bosch is developing as well. Bosch is developing also further functionalities, especially for those that are going for a track use. So we will see a development not only from our side, but also development from our partners like Bosch, using also the tire data for sure.
Amazing. And as we're transitioning, Pirelli, F1 Pirelli, that's racing is sort of in your blood, but we're also transitioning to electric vehicles, to sustainability. What are some of the benefits of these tires for electric vehicles in the future?
Knowing the tire data, knowing the tire characteristics, knowing the status in which the tires are in terms new, worn, knowing the conditions while driving. In a car like an electric car that is intrinsically more connected, you can possibly benefit more also from the tire data themselves. We are also making some specific tire for these kind of vehicles, because these vehicles have some, let's say, particular features. One that is possibly not the best one is that they are heavier. But on the same side, they are also having a fantastic torque, so you can exploit an enormous acceleration. So having the need to transmit more forces without compromising one important point, that is mileage, that is a matter of sustainability as well. It's not only a matter of economical sustainability for the end user, it's a matter of effectively of sustainability. The fact that you recognize the tire, the fact that you use the tire its best through the tire data is for sure an enhancement. So these systems may help to use at the best the enormous potential that is given by an electric car. And since the electric car is intrinsically more connected, it will be easier to plug in, let me say, a new controller that is able to dialogue also with the car, with the tire. I'm sorry.
That's great. I just turned in and traded in one of my electric cars for a rear wheel drive, but a front wheel drive electric car. And because of the torque, every time you put a little bit too much acceleration, the body would move back and the front wheels would spin all the time, which sounds kind of cool, but after a while you're like, I'm just destroying my tires. With this system, it seems like it would tell the car, hey, you can't give it that much torque because based on how much wear or the compound of the tire, it won't spin.
Again, we are back to the fact that you do not have to react. You can anticipate this, knowing which slip angle, which slip degree to allow. You can intervene, anticipating this condition. There is another feature that is habilitated by the sensor, which is the vehicle mass distribution. And so you can know exactly real time which is the weight on each individual tire. That is something that was born at the beginning to control the suspensions for comfort. Think about, you have an SUV, it may be empty, may be full loaded. You can tune it according to the information that is coming from this system, telling you this is the weight on this vehicle, on this axis, on this specific tire, not indeed axis, specific tire. In this case, you can also adapt the suspension to, let's say, change a little bit the geometry of the car itself. We have a world in front of us with connected tire, with software defined vehicles. There is a world before us.
Awesome. It sounds very exciting. Thank you so much, Piero, for taking the time to speak with us today. Yeah, check out Pirelli and Bosch's new connected tires.
Thank you very much to you. I appreciate it. And it was really nice to see that you have got the key points of the innovation. Thank you.
For more information about the evolution of sustainability, head on over to sustainablecareers.sae.org. And if you're not quite ready to add an EV to your household, you can check out our plug-in hybrid explainer video to help bring you up to speed on the hybrid technology and the vehicles. Be sure to subscribe and listen every week on your favorite podcast platform.
SAE International makes no representations as to the accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. The information and opinions are for general information only. SAE International does not endorse, approve, recommend, or certify any information, product, process, service, or organization presented or mentioned in this podcast.